Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is kIODIEKIN. Hope you guys are all having a great day. And I have an important update regarding Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the Arcade1up. As you guys know, they are coming out in about a month or so. I think the official release date is October 1st, and pre-orders are scheduled to go on September 8th for the game. And so I was really debating about whether or not I should make this video. At the same time, I know I have a lot of gamers on my channel and, a lot of subscribers, but I also have your average consumers on here that are maybe aware of Arcade1up, but maybe they're not familiar with all of the emulation aspects. And so I'm a YouTuber and also a gamer, if you guys know who Justin Wong is. He released a video a couple weeks ago. Now, this game was debuted at EVO 2022 in early August. I think it was August 5th or so. And everybody said the emulation and stuff was fine and everything was, pretty good. But I was really skeptical about it because I didn't see enough gameplay footage to really be either for it or against it. But, because I understand how Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is emulated. But he released a video, not a live video, but an edited video that he released on his channel. And around the 6-minute and 54 mark, the game completely froze on him. He was playing the Sentinel, fighting against Wolverine, and he did a move called where you just basically call out your assist type. That's not normal, and that shouldn't happen for that kind of game. The only time the game would typically used to freeze maybe in the arcade is maybe when you do a hyper crossover combo. I mean, maybe I know you have a delay for that, but then I know sometimes with the screen would flicker regarding certain combos and certain moves within the game. That's normal, but calling out your basic assist type and the game freezing on you to the point where he just stopped pressing buttons and moving the joystick, that's not normal, and that should be an issue for concern for the Arcade1up community, considering that this game is coming out, or at least pre-orders are going out in the next week and a half or 2 weeks. And so there were a lot of positive comments regarding the emulation and the game itself. But remember, some people may say, well, hey, Keo, this is just a prototype or whatnot. But keep in mind, then if that's the case, then emulation over time or any patches that they've discovered would have gotten better over time, because this video was posted 2 weeks later. He's using a character, he calls out his assist type, and he stopped playing. He stopped moving the joystick, he stopped pressing buttons, and that tells me that was something he was used to. Because, usually if a game is going to freeze on you, or if you're not expecting it to, you're still kind of moving around the joystick and pressing in buttons and whatnot. But for him to sit there and just freeze and wait for the character to finally comes on, that tells me this game has other hiccups that they haven't really considered. And we're really close to the deadline for pre-ordering this game. Now, another thing I definitely want to add is one of the guys in the forums who's competed against Justin Wong noticed that he was missing combos. Now, the reason for that is because, remember, Arcade1up is using a BOE monitor, and some of the specs on it is a 14 millisecond delay. Or a 14 millisecond response time. That's not good, and missing combos is the result of you playing on something that's much faster or much better, and you're missing combos. Now, that's not my opinion, that's not my observation, but other gamers in the community who understand Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and those familiar with his playing style and played against him did notice that he was missing combos that he would normally not miss. Now, typically, if you guys are familiar with my channel, I've had this running on the Raspberry Pi, Odroid, and then also the G-Pi case. If you guys are familiar with I believe it's the Raspberry Pi Pico, that device. I have it emulating, have it running. I've gone over all the specs and aspect ratios that you need to have for this game. This isn't the kind of game where you can play it for a few minutes and say, hey, the game's running great, whether it's running fine or really slow. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there where people have demonstrating the game saying it's running great, and it's honestly not. I mean, you can look at these videos and tell. But primarily with this type of game is you really have to test every possible combo with every possible character and every possible variant to see if the emulation is holding up pretty well. For the most part, games like, we'll say maybe Killer Instinct or NFL Blitz, which are harder to emulate on other front ends. If the game's running good, okay, then it's kind of running good and it's going to be consistent all throughout the game. But you have certain instances where the game may not run at all, If it's choppy, the game will tell you that it's running choppy or laggy, or if it's running too fast. And that's something you can definitely do that with. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is a totally different beast. You can't look at it and play a few frames, run a few combos with a couple of characters, run a few assist types, and say, hey, the game is running great. No, this game will totally deceive you, because I've had it happen to me 3 years ago before we had it running really good on the Raspberry Pi 4. And so typically the way that a test for this game should be done is you should have two competing players who are really familiar with the game, you know, going through all their combos and different scenarios and different characters. And then obviously perform some online tests to see what was going on, and then get that data and information, and then see how it held up for a couple of hours or so. I'm really shocked that, you know, even though this game was at EVO, none of the guys, to my knowledge, who were competing in the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 tournaments got a shot to play. I mean, that would have told us a lot more about the emulation and how the game handled certain characters, but we didn't see any of that. And I've reached out to a few of the guys and asked them, and they said no, nobody reached out to them. But that would have gave you the best possible way to fully test this game. Number two, again, I hope they're not testing this game against a PC, maybe a Fightcade or whatnot, because it's going to give you a false readout, because you're going to be used to combos maybe on a faster gaming monitor versus something that registers at this speed. And then also too, there are combos that register on the Xbox 360 and different console ports that aren't even in the arcade. And so the best way to see if there's any input lag or if the combos are all there is really test this against the actual arcade equipment. Now, I understand this is a toy, but keep in mind they want to have tournaments with this. They've done some advertisements with this, and consumers should be in a position to where they're getting the best possible information and seeing how the game plays, rather than just a few things here and then, you know, you don't see all the possible variants in the game to really make an informed choice. In fact, a few weeks ago, I reached out to Arcade1up regarding the NFL Blitz cabinet, asking them for a changelog. One of my subscribers asked me what type of changes did they make, and so I asked a question on my subscriber's behalf, and it didn't get answered, because I asked what changes were made to NFL Blitz. Because if you go into a store and you don't follow the Arcade1up community, how are you going to know what changes were made to that game unless it's either written on the box or there's some type of changelog, which is typical for these types of scenarios? Nothing's been provided, and in fact, I do know that there was a live stream, and Justin Wong, who's one of the testers for NFL Blitz, said that they didn't have enough equipment to test the online capabilities. And even up until this point of this video, there hasn't been any online play or any video showing NFL Blitz playing online.
Able to play 2 players or 3 players on the same cabinet online?
I would say that's definitely a big request that a lot of people have been questioning. We've been asking as well for the QA side, but there's no confirmation for that.
That's something they publicly admitted to. That's not a good sign. When they've had a reputation for releasing botchy equipment and things of that nature that you guys have even seen here on this channel, because I had that happen with the NBA Jam online cabinet. But this video is just made to bring awareness to this situation, that there are issues currently with the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 ROM. This locking up on Justin should not have happened. I mean, this is just a basic assist, a basic move in the game. We haven't seen all 3 characters, or 5 characters at least, on the screen at the same time, which would cause the most slowdown. For those of you not familiar with the game, there's a move where you could call out all 3 characters, and then let's say if that second person called out an assist, there's a maximum character count on the screen of 5 characters, and so that would give you the most sprites or animation on the screen to show you what the true slowdown time is for this particular game. But for this game to lag as it did, or just actually not lag but freeze up, and to the point where he stops playing and pressing buttons, that is not a good sign. And that gives me cause to concern for some of the other things that we haven't seen yet. And again, I'm really shocked this has really gone acknowledged. I posted this on my public Facebook page a couple weeks ago. Like, actually, it was like the day I saw this video, and there's hundreds of comments on this video, and I don't think anybody noticed it. Either people didn't notice it, or they're not familiar with it. But that should not happen for a game like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And this game is really deceiving to emulate, because you could go from 0 miles an hour to 2,000 miles an hour, and then it could drop back down to 400 and then go back up to another 800 miles an hour, back up to 1,500. This is not the kind of game where you're running it in emulation saying, oh, okay, it's running good, on a couple levels, we're fine, everything's running good. No. I mean, I've seen it happen, and it's my understanding, too, that they changed the aspect ratio of this game. I believe the aspect ratio fitting on this monitor is, was it 12 something by 960? And that could cause one of the issues for this game, because in order to get this game running, like, perfectly sound, it needs to be at its original aspect ratio. And that is the smallest ratio as possible to get the best possible gameplay for this. It's really tricky. I mean, I've never seen a ROM like this where, you adjust the aspect ratio of the game, and it can, like we've had issues with Nintendo 64 on the Pi, and once you lowered it down, it ran fine. But with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, there's even little certain tips and things that you can run even with the Redream emulator and certain front ends that would give you a little bit more power, a little bit less lag input or delays or for the game. I mean, you really have to know what you're doing to get this. But at this point in time, the game is scheduled to release within a month or so. And to see a video like this, I definitely thank Justin for being transparent and uploading this video. However, since this is a promotional video for the company, I wouldn't have uploaded this. I wouldn't have shown this whatsoever. I'm sure that he was aware of it, because it tells me, based upon his body language, that he was used to it. But it's not a good sign, guys. It's not a good sign. But like I said, I was going to go through this for you with a fine-tooth comb, because there's been a lot of reviews where people said, hey, I'm not experienced with the game. And that's not going to help the community for people looking to make an informed choice. So with that being said, consider subscribing to the channel. I will keep you guys updated. I do plan on getting one of these myself. I hope I'm not spending money to be a $500 beta tester. I do agree that this cabinet does look nice, but if you are looking for serious gameplay and this is what they are offering us at this point in time, then yeah, there's definitely issues to be concerned, because there's other pinpoints or points in the game where I know this is going to cause issues down the line. So I'll see you guys later. You guys peace out and have a great day. Bye-bye.